Good morning, everyone. My name is John Buto, president of the Mountain View Computer Users Group, and I'd like to welcome you to our first meeting of 2025. And if we got a meeting planned for you today, we're going to talk a little bit about the user group business, and our timely tech topics are really timely because they're as of yesterday with news. And then we're going to get into probably one of the most exciting meetings we have planned in a long time. Privacy and cybersecurity concerns. All of us are aware that there's a problem with security these days. And we're going to go over, it is going to be a panel discussion. We're going to have Jim Emmons, our webmaster. Barry, is Barry on yet? Barry will be joining us at some point. Mike and myself discussing these topics, and I sent the topics out to you so you know what we'll be talking about, and try and give you ideas on how to handle these problems, what to be aware of, late-breaking problems that can come up, and how to get around them. So let's get started. We do have a sponsorship program for the meetings. It's $10 per meeting or $100 a year. You get a slide during the meeting, you get posted video on the web, you get Facebook mention, and ask around. Who knows, you may find somebody who'd like to sponsor us. But we do have a continuing sponsor. This meeting is sponsored by, and I need to stop moving, it's sponsored by Carolyn McLean, Mia Bella's Candles. February is coming up real shortly, and that's Valentine's Day. The candle lady, Carolyn, has got some great Valentine Day candles, or Valentine candles. Here are some of them here. We have Love Struck, Sweet Tarts. Her candles are really good. So contact Carolyn. You can email her, you can phone her, you can send a carrier pigeon. And if you're looking for a gift for Valentine's Day, this is a great one. Okay, a little bit about user group business. Okay, here are the officers. I'm the president. Oh, by the way, just for those of you who care, this March will be the 40th anniversary of the user group. It was started in 1985 in March. It started at Eclectic Computers. I don't remember all of the first members, but Bob Bobar was one of the first ones, and Joe Cracchiolo. And then I joined in 86 and have been the president ever since then. We have Carolyn McLean, our treasurer. Do you have a treasurer's book, Carolyn?
Yes, we do. We have $284.01 in checking, $426.54 in savings for a total of $710.45.
Perfect.
Relevant to my, I had never put it in December deposit yet, so it's probably another $75 more.
If you've not paid your dues for this year, and our dues are $25 a year for a family membership. We have two vice presidents. One is Mike McLean, who's sitting over to my right. He handles primarily Windows and iOS. And then we have Barry McGordon, who handles Mac OS and iOS. And we have Jim Emmons, who handles Linux and is our webmaster. And you'll actually be able to see him for the first time in centuries. He does exist. And don't give me any crap, Jim. We have our website, MVCUG.org. Go up there. It's filled with all kinds of information. Jim does a really good job on handling this. Visit the website to learn more about the Facebook page, membership benefits, membership in the user group, how much we charge, and upcoming monthly topics. This is our group list. This is a list you can join. You subscribe to it, and it connects all the members who joined it. And if you have a question, all you have to do is ask it. And then sometimes it seems almost instantly, you'll get a response on how to solve it. I think Mike McLean lives on the list. You beat me, which I thought was impossible. So if you want to join it, just contact one of the officers and we'll set you up. We do have professional consulting, and this actually makes joining the group worth every penny of it. Barry and I provide support for Windows, Mac OS, and iOS. We can do it over the phone, via email, Zoom session, or if necessary, in person. Now, if we visit you in person, there is a charge of $35 an hour. The Geek Squad charges $250. We're a much better bargain because we guarantee our work. If we can't fix it, you don't pay it. And this is for if you suspect that you're being scammed and you're worried, contact us. If something's not working right on your computer, like we had a member whose computer was running really slowly, couldn't understand it. I worked remotely and the computer ended up running 10, 20 times faster. Nick, at least that wasn't it? Yeah, he's shaking his head. Yeah. Had a young lady who's a member, well, she's not that young. She's younger than me. Had the same identical problem. So I knew exactly what the problem was because of helping Nick. And she was dumbfounded how much faster her computer got. So any questions on Consultant? Next month, we talk about web browsers and search engines. There is a plethora of web browsers available now. Which one should you use? What are the pros and cons? How do you use a search engine? What are the differences in search engines? Because there's a lot of different search engines. And then in March is going to be a very interesting meeting on collaboration. Now, what this means, you're saying, well, gee, I never have to collaborate. I don't work anymore. Collaboration is a lot more than just working. One of the things we've been doing for planning my daughter's wedding is we run collaboration sessions. We all get together and go over stuff. We share ideas. Barry, Jim and I have been collaborating on the website. That's coming up. We should be in this room, I think, through March.
Oh, John, something we'll have to bring up on the web browsers one is AIs are quickly replacing search engines.
That is going to be a topic of it because that's what I've been doing. Can you use an AI engine, artificial intelligence engine, to replace your search engine? And the answer is it depends upon what you're searching for. If you're searching for information, then yes. If you're searching for websites, no. And we'll have examples of both, show you how to do it. I've gotten really excited. I love that music. Okay, what happened this month? This month started out really slow, then all of a sudden it picked up. First thing, and probably the biggest news that's hit the industry, is that Facebook has reversed its censorship policy. It no longer censors posts just like X does. They've gotten rid of their fact checkers because they discovered their fact checkers weren't checking facts. There's all kinds of controversy over this. People are up in arms on both sides. They, left is saying he's betrayed us. The right saying we don't believe him. So it is going to be interesting to see how this develops. The next one, probably many of you are saying, Google to adopt private email addresses. What does that mean? Those of you who own a Mac OS or iOS, you've probably seen when you go to a site and it asks for your email address, do you want to use a hidden address? That's a private address. You're saying, why should I use that? Well, Apple showed that your email address is a gateway to almost everything you do online. So by hiding it or giving a private address, you keep hackers, scammers from getting your email address to log into your bank account, your savings account, your prescription account, whatever. So Google is adopting it. It should be available sometime next month, which is a great boon. I mean, this is great news. Yes, ma'am.
I don't. What is what's the difference? What am I doing, or what are they doing? If I have a Gmail,
When you go in and you're asked for your email address and you say, yes, give me the private one or give me the hidden one, it will substitute a different email address that when it goes to that address, it's forwarded to you transparently.
at what point is that happening? Meaning as I'm writing something and sending my emails or giving my email.
No, it's only when you go to a website, that's where it's used. When you go to a website, it asks you for an email address in order to get on this site, you have to subscribe to the newsletter. Well, you give them a hidden email address.
How do I give them a hidden email
It'll come up and ask you automatically.
in March? Not now, but and how would I have done it today?
You can't, with Apple, it's built into Safari. With Google, it'll be built into Chrome. And so it automatically comes up and says, do you want to use a hidden email address, of which I do constantly now.
It'll generate a random email address and associated with your email account. It'll use it one time at that website. It'll be completely transparent to you.
SpaceX, Elon Musk's space exploration, is rewriting the program. If you've not been following this, you really should. He has reusable rockets. He's designed a lunar base camp, completely changed the space industry. The tech stocks have been leaping forward, but the biggest announcement, and this one is not a joke. Tesla, guys who make the cars, run by Elon Musk, is introducing this year a smart TV. A 55-inch 8K television will be $179. For a 65-inch, $399. All the way up to, I think the largest is $150, which would be $1,200. Now, what this means is the entire TV industry got caught with their pants down. Nobody's even close to what he's doing. Plus, this is one that really surprised me. This TV set, I watch a lot of foreign films. Quite often, the subtitles are not in English. This TV will not only translate subtitles into different languages, but will translate the narration, the speech, into another language. So it'd be auto dubbing. When I heard this, I had to watch it 3 or 4 times to make sure I was hearing everything about this thing right. And it should be available sometime this year. Rumor time. We have both Apple and Microsoft rumors. One of the big rumors is Apple's going to introduce a cheap iPhone, an SE4 or 4 SE. Now, understand, these are not announcements from Apple. These are heavy rumors of what's going to be announced this month. It should be a monitored HomePod. You know, the little round HomePods that they came out with, you put in every room? Well, one's going to come out with a small monitor on it so you can control things better. And the last one is not a rumor. Apple announced it 2 days ago, M4 Max. Now, the M4 chip is one of the fastest chips out there. It's amazingly fast. And they're going to be coming one. They have one now on the one of the Mac models, but they're coming out on the notebook, and I believe I think it's the MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. Now, Microsoft, there's been a whole bunch of rumors going around the developers community, is that Microsoft is going to have a return of the tablet, which unfortunately failed miserably. And they're going to be completely revamping Windows 11, which many of us are very pleased about, because I have nothing but problems with Windows 11. In fact, Mike, I need to talk to you about Windows 11.
That's probably the rollout of 24H2, which has been happening since October. That's probably the release of 24H2, their update. It's a major update. They were calling it an OS replacement. It started rolling out in October and should be finishing up right about now. So yeah, that was replaced a lot of things under the engine. The tablet I haven't heard about, but I know they are working on, they want to move away from Intel chips and go to an ARM chip. I think the one they're looking at is called Snapdragon.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah, I just heard about that this last week.
Okay, now let's move on. Share a tip. We're going to have two with iOS 18.3 and Mac OS Sequoia. The Apple is given ChatGPT free. You don't have to pay for it. It's 4.0. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I am sharing. Okay, I need to change my sharing. How do I do that? How do I get to my Zoom desktop? I'm just going to come in here into notes. Now, this is sample of GPT. Okay, let's try this. Write a short 100-word paper describing string theory designed for seniors. So I'm going to select it, right-click on it, and come down here to writing tools. Writing tools. Where are my writing tools? And then all the way down at the bottom, there we go. Okay, I got it now. You can see the whole thing now, right? Select it, come down here to writing tools. At the very bottom it says compose. Include all text. Come in here to writing tools, compose, paste it in. I want this. There we go. That fast. String theory is a complex scientific concept that seeks to explain, and there's my research. Okay, that fast. I have suggested things from make it more engaging for seniors and an example to illustrate the concept, simplify the scientific terminology. Well, let's say, give an example. And it's going through and thinking, okay. And it rewrote it, putting in an example. That is just basically how you use it instead of a search engine. But it's that simple to use. Now, to show you like how I use Apple Intelligence, I'll give you an example because I'm a big fan of Apple Intelligence, and especially since they incorporated ChatGPT 4.0. You notice when I sent out the topics, those topics were pretty well written. I didn't write them. Mike sent me a very long email on suggestions for topics, as did Barry, as did Jim, as did I. I put them all together and I said, generate key points. And I'll show you how that's done. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go to writing tools, create key points. It just took this paper and generated these key points that I could use on slides. Let me make this a little bit bigger so people can see it. And that's all it took to do it. It's a tool like a spell checker. That's how I look at it. It's a tool. It's a grammar checker. It's a spell checker. Yeah, Nick? It depends upon where you're reading that article. If you're in Safari, you just tell Safari to summarize it, and it'll go through and do it for you automatically or generate key points. If you're in Safari using AI and have AI available to you, I do that all the time. When I get these huge, long articles, I'll just go summarize it and tell me what it's about.
So it's the final nail in the coffin of anybody thinking deeply about anything.
Oh, God, you sound like Jane.
I like Jane.
This is applicable. Well, what? Oh, and yeah.
18. It has to be 18.3, and you must have one of the M chips in order to make it work on an iPhone.
An M chip?
M chip. So that's iPhone 15 or later. And to me, it was worth upgrading my 14 to a 16 to get this capability. I use it every day, even more than I suspected. So that's using ChatGPT. It's available.
So while you're doing that, let me tell the little tale about the inquiry you got from your friend about the Section 230 Act, if I might. So John got an email from a friend of his saying that he used Google AI Overview to search for information on Section 230, which is the part of a Communications Act in 1996 that protects the internet from, or protects people that run websites from defamation from what their users say. And it came back and said, Section 230 is part of the Communications Act of 1934, which, as he sent to John, saying, I'm pretty sure there wasn't an internet in 1934. And that got me looking, and I started researching. And it turns out the act in 1996 actually amended the original Communications Act of 1934. So technically, Section 230 is part of that 1934 act, but everybody always referred to it by the 1996 act. So it was kind of interesting that the AI actually dug deeper than anyone expected and came up with information that was accurate and just not well known. So when you get at some of these answers, you're going to have to take a look at it and go, is this right? Or does this just know more than I ever thought about? It's going to be interesting. My own personal take is AI is very, very useful, but it has to be approached with caution as to how it's utilized.
I think too is AI is pulling stuff off the internet. And as we all know, not everything on the internet is true. So you still have to do your research to make sure what it gives you is really what is true. I mean, you just can't say, oh, I want this and expect it to be 100% correct.
Yes,
It might be, but it probably won't.
It just pulls out everything is information to it. It doesn't know if somebody's being sarcastic or joking or whatever. A famous, well-known example was someone put in, how do I keep my cheese from sliding off my pizza? And it came up with, put glue on it. Because it turned out that on the site Reddit, someone actually made a joke about that, and it says, oh, okay, and used it as an actual answer. Everybody ate the paste.
By the way, if you take a look up at the screen right now, you'll see Mike, you see myself, and you see down at the bottom somebody that most of you have probably never seen before. Wave Jim. That's Jim Evans, our webmaster, who's remained a mystery for eons and eons. But he does,
And there goes the black tape.
of course. Very funny. Okay, Mike, it's all yours now.
Oh, okay. Then I am going to share my screen.
Yeah.
Have to mute yourself.
Okay.
No, you should be.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen now.
Jim said he couldn't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me through yours?
You should be able to hear him.
Yeah, because if I unmute, we're going to get awful feedback.
Oh, no. Yes, Jim can't hear you, but we can on the tape.
Yeah.
We'll figure out something.
Okay. What I wanted to talk about, read my lips, Jim. What I wanted to talk about was something that Microsoft has come up called PC Manager. And what it is, it's a little tool that actually just puts together a lot of things that are available in Windows. PC Manager. And this is interesting because I should already have it installed on here. Let me get rid of that.
I'm glad to see you. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, here it is, PC Manager. I'm going to start that up and minimize this. Here is PC Manager. It's essentially a tool that brings together a lot of the little tools that are scattered around Windows through the control panel and the settings app. It also replaces some things like CC Cleaner. So there's a number of things here on the home screen. Of course, there's an ad, Make Edge your browser. I use Chrome myself. It has something here called PC Boost, which I'm not entirely sure what exactly what that does. I think it's supposed to go through and figure out what apps you're not actually using and turn them off. We'll get rid of temporary files. It says it has 1.3 gigs of temporary files. And it gives you the option to do the check my computer, see what's going on with it, do a deep cleanup on the hard drive, and go through my startup apps and see what I've got starting up. That's under the home screen. Under protection, this is essentially the same information I get out of the settings app. It just brings it forward. I can scan for viruses. I can see whether I've done a Windows update. I can set my default browser to something besides Chrome if I want to. Restore the taskbar and restore basically everything to defaults and handle pop-up management. Again, most of this is available elsewhere in the settings. It just brings it into one place. Storage, it lets me manage how my disk drive storage is doing. Again, I can do a deep cleanup, manage downloaded files. This is handy, large files. Sometimes I've wondered, if I'm running out of space, what files can I really get rid of that are going to make a difference? This will tell me what my files are by size. And if I see something, holy smokes, I didn't know it was that big. I don't really need that. I can get rid of it. It'll look for duplicate files, and I can use it to turn on Storage Sense, which is the capability that Windows 11 has to automatically start deleting old files if you start running low on storage space. Under the app section, I can see how many processes I have running, how many programs are running in the background. Again, what apps are running on startup, uninstall rarely used apps if I want to, and of course an ad from the Microsoft Store where I can download new apps. And finally the toolbox, which lets me do a few handy things like screenshots, some of the Edge things that lets you do quick links, Bing Translator, currency converter, weather, and so on. And of course, a link to the Microsoft Network website. And then I can do a restore from here. And it says you don't have anything to restore, you're good. And settings just goes to whether I can turn boost off or on, whether I can turn on pop-up management for Windows, and whether or not to start PC Manager automatically when I sign into Windows, which I have turned off. So again, there's not a lot really new here. It's just more of convenience. But when I read the review on this, it did say that it is a replacement for CCleaner, because CCleaner is a third-party app that's been around for decades that lets you go through and get rid of temporary files, compress space, and all that. This has all that functionality in it. And it's just kind of a handy thing and kind of nice to know that it's there. Questions? All right. Back to you, John.
Looks really good.
I will stop.
Okay. And there you go. Here we go. Let's go back in the presentation. Questions? Do we have any questions on anything we talked about so far? Comments? Okay. Let's moving right along. We're going to take about a 5-minute break just so I can go and do some housekeeping stuff. So let's take a break. We'll see you all in about 5 minutes. Main presentation, privacy and cybersecurity concerns. Alexa, are you listening to everything? Which I think is a interesting concept. We're going to talk about that. First thing we're going to talk about is passwords and alternatives to passwords, what you should do with passwords. There are a few things that you can do either in place of a password or in conjunction with a password. One of them is called a passkey. What a passkey is a little bit of software that goes in and verifies who you are that is maintained on your computer or your device. So when you log in, if it is a passkey compliant, it will ask for your passkey. And if it doesn't have it, you can't log in. Why? To prevent people coming into your account that's not you. Because generating a login and a password is not that difficult unless you have at least a 10-character password. The longer the password, the harder it is to crack. 8-character passwords are easy to crack, especially if you're using all letters. No. Letters, characters, and numbers. At least 2 numbers, at least 2 characters. Non-repetitive. If you do that, and I got to stop bouncing. If you do that, you stand a good chance of not getting hacked easily. With passkey, that's an extra layer. The alternative is 2-factor authentication, which either will phone you with a code or email you with a code. Now, with that in mind, warning everyone, listen to me carefully. The texting of a 2-factor authentication has been breached. Do not use it. Have it emailed to you. This just came out this last week. It has been breached. It can be compromised. Email cannot currently. So when you're given the option of an email or texting, email. Now, if you're in Safari, Safari will go in and look at that email and find the code for you. It just takes a little bit. The other thing, biometrics. Many phones now have the capability of either fingerprint identification or face identification. If your phone has that capability, use it. That is your best protection. It is very difficult, if at all.
I'm going to make sure I can be heard when I start talking.
Okay, good.
I don't need to be down to back for that.
Okay. That is your best protection. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Best protection is biometrics. Now you're saying, I visit, 20, 30, 40, 50 sites. How am I supposed to remember 50 unique passwords? I barely remember my own name anymore. That's true. Password managers. On Mac OS, iOS, Apple's built in an exceptionally good password manager called Password. That works real well. It's now its own application. There are third-party ones. Dashlane is one. Costs money. 1Password is one. It costs money. Are they good? By the way, here's a little tip for those of you who use Safari. Safari stores your credit card information to reuse. If you need to edit it, you edit it in Safari, not in Password. It's up there. It's one of the options. The credit card information, make sure it's current. No, it is not distributed. When using Safari, and I believe Chrome also, that when you give an actual credit card number out using that capability of the store credit cards, your actual credit card number is not, it's a fake number that is good for 10 minutes. So if somebody gets that number and goes to use it, it doesn't work. Same with the Apple Digital Wallet. As a matter of fact, the digital wallet, you can actually go in and see what number it's using. It works very effectively. Yes, sir.
My turn. Okay, passkeys. At the current level of implementation, there are some downsides or some inconveniences to it. Right now, the way passkeys are being implemented, each company is implementing it in its own fashion. For example, Apple, when you do a passkey, it will save it into Apple Chain, which means you can't use the same passkey for a website on Microsoft. Microsoft is storing it in its own place. If you do other websites, they may store it on the device. I actually have some that save it in my password manager. It depends. But here's the thing. Passkeys are, right now, they're convenient. They're not adding that much extra security for the simple reason I actually haven't seen any websites that give you the option to only use a passkey and get rid of your password. That means you still have that vulnerability of having a password there. And we're going to get to that point where they will probably start removing them, but we're not there yet. So yeah, passkeys right now are convenient, but they're still a work in progress. Two-factor authentication, there is another way to use it that I would recommend. It's called an authentication app. For example, I use Google Authenticator. What that does is you synchronize it with the website and it generates a new number every minute. When you log into that website, it asks you enter in the number from your authenticator. I bring up my phone, bring up the authenticator app, enter in that number while it's valid, and then it brings me in. That's a good method. Google has an authenticator app that I use for most stuff. Microsoft has their own authenticator app that I have to use for a couple of things. So that's another way of doing it. Password managers are the way to go. Just about everybody, Apple and Microsoft have their own ones built in. I use a third party called RoboForm. Highly recommend whichever commercial one you want to use. Highly recommend them. I'm now using 24-character completely random passwords on all my websites. And last time I counted, I've got like 150 websites that I've got accounts on.
Minimizing cyber data damage. You have any comments on that one?
Well, like I kind of mentioned to John, we need to move past trying to prevent data breaches for the simple reason we've been breached so many times. We got to kind of have to assume your data is out there. The last thing we heard was that there was like somebody put like 4 billion passwords up on the web. We got to kind of figure it's every password you've ever had. So at this point, and the whole thing is, it's not your fault. A lot of these data breaches have happened at third parties, like these companies that the credit card companies use to aggregate data, and that's where the hackers go. And it wasn't your fault. A lot of this information is out there. So basically, we need to focus on minimizing damage, protecting yourself by using strong, safe passwords, change them every now and again, monitor your banking accounts. Personally, I use a commercial service to monitor all my accounts because I know I was in the middle of a couple of major hacks. For example, the Office of Personnel Management, when I was working up on post, that happened to happen right when I was getting a clearance upgrade. So I know all my stuff was hanging in the wind right at that moment. So yeah, that may or may not be something for you, but monitor your stuff. Keep an eye out for any suspicious charges and things that are going on that just seem unusual. Be wary.
And I want to add on to that. All of your info is out there. The one big thing you have to protect is your social security number. With that, someone can become you. It happens a lot more than you probably realize. Watch your bank accounts, your credit cards. Look for charges that you did not make, especially if they're under $1. Because what they will do is they'll grab, and how they do this is really interesting. If you've not watched Beekeeper, please do. It's very accurate. It's a movie. They will randomly generate credit card numbers and ping them against an account until they get a hit. Once they get a hit, they know they got a good card. And they can make a charge against it because some companies do not have good security. So they will not use the CVV, that's a little 3-digit code on the back. They don't use that. They don't use the date. They just use the number. And if it's valid, comes back and say, yeah, this 3-cent, 10-cent charge. The next thing you know, you got to charge for $5,000 for a cruise to the Bahamas. Happened to me exactly that way. I caught it just in the nick of time because my phone came up and said, you just made a 3-cent charge. No, I didn't. So as I was going to check it with my bank, this charge came up, $5,000 from a travel agency. I had a control set up on all my accounts. Did you make this charge? Because it was way out of my spending pattern. No. Within less than a minute, I get a call from the bank saying, you've been compromised. I said, yes, I know. I'm the one who told you. Your credit card's been turned off completely. Now, here is something you may not know about the digital wallet. Let's say that you've got Visa and your Visa card gets compromised and you have to wait for a new credit card, right? No. If you are using the Apple digital wallet, as soon as the bank generates that new number, you are updated. And this normally happens within about 2 minutes. Yes, Yes. You know how I found out about that? It happened to me. Because my debit card got compromised. And so I said, what am I going to do without a debit card? So I said, well, I wonder if I can still use my old card or if it's been turned off already because I needed money. I go in and say, oh, that's a new number. Son of a gun. It's been updated. And get this, all of those sites that you have set up to pay with a credit card, with that credit card, get automatically updated now if you go through Chase. So you don't have to worry about not all accounts. It's only those that are within the electronic network that have that provision. Like if you're at a restaurant and you use a credit card, it doesn't do it. Amazon, it updated. My Amazon card got compromised. And I mean, I live on Amazon. I thought I won't be able to buy anything. I went to make a purchase and I was going to do it through PayPal. It said purchase approved and it already updated it. And we're talking about 10 minutes. That is an advantage of using the digital wallet and a bank that is up to speed. Chase, I know, is definitely. I do not know about Wells Fargo. I don't bank with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo and I have not gotten along since my college days. Okay, anything else on minimizing cyber data damage?
Oh, one thing that you mentioned about social security numbers, I notice sometimes when I go into a new medical provider and they'll give you the paperwork to sign out, some of them will still have a space. You put your social security number here. Don't do it. They don't need it. And I've never had any of them come back to me and say, oh, we need this number. If they did, I'd say, no, you don't. That's not used as an identifier anymore. So, and a lot of them just haven't updated their paperwork. So be very leery about giving out your social security number to anybody. Very few people need it.
The most they will give you, we need the last 4 of your social security number. That's good. The full social security number, the Department of Defense doesn't use it anymore. Social Security Administration already knows it. So they don't need it over the phone. They may ask for it to identify you, but you've called them. They don't call you. Yeah, Charles?
I noticed that you and on Ancestry and go to Find My Grave, you'll find all kinds of social security numbers out there.
Of dead people, yes. Who are still voting, interestingly enough. Oh, by the way, do you know that 1.7 million people who are receiving checks every month are over the age of 122? I find that fascinating. I've never met anybody that old, but they're still drawing checks. I'll tell you that one offline. Yes, sir.
How do people go in and get into your phone to change settings? And the reason I'm asking is because somebody got into my wife's phone and set it up to where she didn't answer it, told it to go, the message. It said it would automatically forward her call to them.
Yep. You use Android, don't you? You use an Android phone, don't you? Yeah, that's one of the reasons you shouldn't use an Android. Okay, this is how it happens.
She caught it in time. It was a PayPal thing. Yeah, they finally messed up with it.
This is how it happens. Your wife at some point, either went to a website or opened up an email message that took her to a website that was bogus. At that website, they downloaded an application that goes into your phone and does whatever it wants to do. Forwarding phone calls is very simple to do. I mean, any high school senior can do it. That is why the Android operating system is not known as a protected operating system. It is highly vulnerable to malware.
So is that thing that she put on her phone, is that still there? We called the phone company and they gave us a code to put in there. They said it would never be forwarded again. All it did was fix that.
Yeah, that turned it up. But no, that malware is more than likely still there. Jim, you play with Android more than I do. Am I correct? Just nod your head yes or no. It is probably still there. There are programs you can get off the Android or the Google Play that will check for malware on your Android phone. And that's what you probably. Who's your carrier? Verizon, AT&T.
Super Cellular.
Do they have a store here in town? Do they have a store here in town that you can go to? No. Oh, geez. Okay, that's one of the problems of not using one of the big carriers is this problem right now. If you have Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, you could take it to the store and have them purge it. That comes with your line. Consumer, you'd have to download an application onto your phone and run it to clear the malware out.
She can call them back and they can tell her how to use it.
Yeah, but that is a real problem with Android phones. They are susceptible. Are iPhones completely not susceptible? We'll get to that. Yes, sir.
What about any kind of virusware for your phone? Is there, I've heard stories that, you don't need it, you do need it.
It's a
computer, but a phone.
Yes. It depends on which phone you're using.
Yeah, the Sans 21.
That's Android. Strongly suggest you get antiviral software and put it on the phone. Off of the Google Play Store.
Okay, so I downloaded one of them, but I don't know if that's really legitimate. And I heard that you didn't have to really have it for Android.
That is, whoever told you that is a bold-faced lie.
Okay.
You have to. I can give you story after story after story of people that have had problem with viruses, especially web-based viruses. That's the one. Yeah, Jim is going, yeah, absolutely. That's what plagues us on iOS as well as Mac OS and Windows and Android are web-based malware. It's hard to protect it against it. They are getting better at doing it, and we are getting better at protecting against it.
Okay, you go to Verizon and can they check your phone for malware? The Verizon store.
They used to. I don't know if they still do.
I mean, they used to be able to do all kind of stuff. Now they're dumb. They don't know. Now they tell you call 211 or Spixel.
Sir, I would rather not get into that conversation because I spent 4 months with Verizon trying to get my iPhone 16 Pro Max fully operational. 107 phone calls. I am persistent. Let's move along. Why is this not moving? Okay. No. This is a good one. Oh, here it is. Navigator. There we go. Okay, we'll turn off Navigator. Yeah. I just love technology.
Keeps you on your toes, keeps us young.
Slide away. There we go. Okay. Next one is email. Both of us are going to rant about this one. Number one, never click on a link in an email unless you know exactly who that email is from. You go up from line, click on the address and look at the actual physical address
Actually, don't click on it, just hover over it.
until you can see it.
And I will demonstrate
Yes.
in a minute.
Oh, goody.
Yes.
And make sure that it is a legitimate. If it's like from PayPal, it'll say paypal.com or amex.com, chase.com, not chase-itdu- something. Yes. Oh God. Yes. It has got to be .com or .org with the name of the company. When in doubt, don't click on the link. Pardon?
Did you hear that? Don't click on the link.
Yes.
Is that right? What did you say?
What you do is if you get an email from somebody, a vendor that you think is legit, go to your web browser and go via that, not the email message, and go in and check. That happened to me the other day. I get this email. Here's the situation. I had just made a purchase on eBay through PayPal, $45. Within less than 2 minutes, I get an email message in, allegedly from PayPal, that said, your transaction is short $2. Oh, okay. So I looked at it and my mind wasn't working because it said PayPal something. No, excuse me, it wasn't PayPal. It was a postal service. I just mailed a package. And so I went up and I said, okay. So I tried to pay it. And it looked like the postal service site. And I didn't focus on the fact that it said USPS and something.com. In my mind, I thought, okay, this is legit. Ended up talking to the post office and they said, no, we never do that. You've been compromised. I went up and checked my credit cards, the ones I'd entered. Remember when I said that Amazon card, my United card, and my Disney card all got compromised? Yeah, they did. Don't do it. Even I fall victim to it sometimes. Okay, let me stop.
I'm going to share screen.
Mike's going to show you what to look for.
This is an email I actually got last week for verify your email information or verify your Apple ID information. Okay, here's the message I actually got. Your Apple ID has been disabled pending further notification, and then a case number. Very official looking. First thing I do is I look at the address up here. I seriously doubt Apple is using recnug@rowanmail.net. First thing, verify your Apple ID information. And this one, you can't depend on this anymore, looking at poor grammar, because they're using AI to help polish their emails. But this one, we've temporarily restrict your Apple ID access and Apple Pay service. We regret to inform you that your account has been disabled as a result of violating our policy and terms of service. I have no idea what policy it would be. Our system detected an unauthorized attempt, misspelled, by individuals to impersonate your Apple ID account. Okay, so 2 things going here. I violated terms of service and someone else tried to hack me. Neither of the 2 things go together, but apparently it's designed to make me nervous. Therefore, we need to re-verify your account data. If you do not verify your account data within 48 hours, your account will be terminated. Go to Apple ID and verify as soon as possible. And there's a convenient link there. I do not know of anybody who's selling a service that really wants to turn off one of their customers. I hover over, go to Apple ID, and down at the bottom, see it from there, but it actually has a link that says mobile.mail.yahoo.com and then and then it has a redirect to go to someplace else, and it includes google.com and then goes, Lord only knows where it winds up at. Okay, and then please be advised that providing false information when creating an Apple ID violates Apple's terms of service. In other words, don't lie to us and could lead to suspension or termination of your account. While Apple may not pursue legal action for such violations, we're a great company. Using false information in digital accounts can have broader legal implications. For instance, in many jurisdictions, using a fake ID or providing false information to obtain services can result in legal penalties, including fines or criminal charges. So if you lie to us, the sheriff may show up at your door. I love this one because very few of them get into this much detail, which makes me think it is AI generated. And my last favorite thing, down here at the bottom, it actually has a copyright 2024 Apple Inc., 1 Apple Park, Cupertino. I love the links that are down here, though. There are 3 links for Apple ID, support, and privacy policy. If I hover over them, all 3 of them go to the same place. They go to the Netflix.com terms of service. Seriously.
Oh, I didn't check that one.
We just like,
I got the same email about a week ago.
yeah.
The same email like yesterday.
Now, a couple of things. If you're a member of the user group and you get something you're not sure about, that's what the group email list is about. Ask us. We will be glad to help you, except if your name is Charles.
To get such an animal here, is there any organization out there that you could forward that email to and they do a little investigation for, find out where those things are coming from?
In this particular case, they are not asking for money. If they were asking for money or a transaction, Federal Trade Commission has got a spam site you can forward it to. In this case, they are not technically breaking the law. They have done nothing illegal. Unethical, yes. Immoral, yes. Illegal, not yet.
If you click on that, it's going to redirect you someplace else where they can do acceptable.
At that point, yes. Until they ask for money, a credit card number or something, it is not illegal. And so you don't know that until you click on it. And by that point, you've been compromised. Because what a lot of them do will take you to a site and download viral software, web-based viral software, to do something. That's how ransomware normally gets spread.
Here's what I would do. I would open up a new tab. I would go to my RoboForm, and I'm not logged in right now, but I would use my RoboForm manager and go to apple.com through my RoboForm. And I'm sure as soon as I got onto the Apple website and was logged in, if there was a problem, they would tell me that I have a problem. Never, ever, ever listen to any email that says, we need you to do something. Never do it. Don't click on anything. Don't give them any information. Go to the website they're purportedly representing and go through there and see what's going on. Because whenever I've done this, the website, the legitimate website is like, we don't know what you're talking about.
Apple, when that does happen, if you go to the Apple website, how do you report fraud? They give you an address to forward it. Their investigation.
Well, I did pro that. I will be doing that.
A lot of companies.
Something that you're going to hear a lot of today is the word never. You'll hear that until you're sick of it. And then you'll hear from some more. But there's a reason for that.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Go back to you.
Okay. Let me go in and share. It's that one right there. Okay. And share. There we go. And let's go in and where am I? There I am. Okay. Never click on links and emails. We already talked about hide my email. Use that, especially when it comes out on Google. I use it all the time. And so far, it has been transparent to me receiving stuff that I've been using it. Stuff that I need to get, I get. And it has my actual email address in it. Oh, device and data. Data privacy concern. Data is like already come from. We already talked about that one. Device security. Okay, Jim, don't freak out. How safe are you with Siri, Alexa, etc.? Always connected, always listening. With Alexa, it is a concern, a big concern. With Siri, it is still a concern, but not nearly as bad because Apple doesn't really use the data. I know, Jim, put your hat on. Alexa, they do use it. Now, Apple at one time did, and then it was brought to their attention that this was a security concern, a personal information, and they stopped doing it unless you approve it. Now, you'll come up and it'll say, Apple would like to use your conversations with Siri to improve the performance. If you say yes, then you've granted them permission for your conversations. Now, do they have somebody up there listening to them? Not really. They don't have time to do that. I mean, how many people use Siri? We're talking about tens of millions. What are you saying that's so incredibly important that they're going to want to waste time, effort, and energy? If you tell Siri your credit card numbers, then there's no hope for you. If you tell Siri your bank numbers, your routing numbers, there's no hope for you. If you tell Siri to turn the lights on in your living room, who cares? So you have to do a risk analysis. Am I at risk using Siri? Well, I use Siri to send text messages to my wife a lot, to make phone calls.
Or Siri and dictation the same?
No, completely. Well, when you're doing dictation, you are using the Siri engine, but it is not transmitting information anywhere. It's not the Siri when you say, hey, Siri. You're using that engine.
The tool of dictation.
Yeah, the tool of dictation.
Siri uses.
Yeah, Siri uses the same thing, but they're not interlinked. But there are some things you should do. When you are not using your camera, you can get little tabs to cover the camera. Because yes, hackers can get into some systems and view whatever you're doing, especially on a Windows machine.
Naked running around the house.
Yep. And by the way, how many of you gotten that email from the guy who says that I've hacked into your computer and I've got, trace of you using pornography? Yeah, you seen that one? Yeah, that one's bogus. But can they do it? Jim, am I correct? In Linux, that's almost impossible to do. On the Mac, virtually impossible to do, though I have heard at the last Black Hat convention, somebody claims that they were able to do it. Now, that was one person. Nobody else has been able to confirm it. Windows, it's very easy to do. Cover that and disconnect your microphone if you can, or turn your microphone off. All systems that use the camera have got a light built in. So when that camera is on, it turns a color, either green or red.
Oh, white in my case.
Oh, white. Oh, yours is white? Okay. If that light is on and you're not using your camera, you got a problem. My suggestion at that point in time is to shut your computer down, shut it down, and have somebody come out and find out what's going on. That should never happen unless you purposely turn on the camera. How often does that ever happen? Well, it's never happened to me. My sister claims it happens to her all the time, and I think she just doesn't remember how to turn it. Okay.
Oh, so Alexas. I have 5 Echoes and 2 Fire TVs that are Alexa enabled throughout my house. I just kind of accumulated them over the years. One of the Echoes is a beta of the very first generation when there was invitation only.
Seriously?
And it still runs.
That's almost a museum piece.
For what only?
When it was beta only, when it was invitation only. I actually got an invitation from Amazon. Would you like to test out our new device? I'm not terribly concerned about privacy on that because Carol and I don't have conversations that are all that interesting to anybody else. I seldom say, honey, have you seen my credit card with that number 5? Almost never do that. We do not have any devices that are camera enabled, for one thing. But the one thing I wanted to mention with Amazon that you have to be cautious with is Amazon will come up with improvements that you may not want to take advantage of. One they did a couple of years ago was called Amazon Sidewalk. And what it did was it created a network of all of the Echo devices within a neighborhood that it could reach through wireless. And the theory was being that if your router went down, you would be able to have network access through your neighbor's Echo devices.
I've forgotten about that.
Yes, I'm not sure if I don't know if it's still there or not. When people found out they were doing it, it was like, oh, and I immediately went up and said, no, turn off. Fortunately, my devices are too old to support that, which is one thing I like about my obsolescence. One thing they are great for is they're great little music players. I love it for that. And I actually have it set up in a network in my house so I can listen to music throughout the entire house. That and my grocery list are my main things for this.
That's exactly what I use mine for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as privacy, I'm not that concerned about it because we don't have that much concern with. The thing is, though, a hacker could use it to determine our patterns of when we're home and when we're not. You could use that to establish a traffic pattern. So that's one thing to be concerned about. Yeah, you got to be thinking of these. You got to be properly paranoid when you're using computers sometimes.
Yes, and Jim is our resident paranoid.
Yes.
So if you ever need to know about paranoia, contact Jim. However, his email, phone number, and street address are classified beyond my need to know. One of the things Mike was talking about, he uses Alexa, I use Siri, and this is one of the biggest things I use Siri for. I'll show you. Hey Siri, add wine to Safeway shopping list.
He's not talking to you today.
Cancel. Hey Siri, cancel.
It says you exceeded your limit for the week.
It came over on my other monitor. I have a Safeway shopping. Oh, I know what. Hey Siri, add wine to Safeway list. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, add wine to Safeway list.
Yeah, it looks like it's eating your phone.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I added wine to the Safeway list.
it's a Safeway list, not shopping list. And that's what I do. If I'm going through the house and I have a Lowe's list, I have a Costco list, I have a Safeway list, I have a Hobby Lobby list. And that way I don't forget stuff when I go shopping, except to remember to use the list when I go shopping. And to do that, I have it set up so when I get to these locations, it automatically brings up the list. Oh, I've done that too. Oh, I just talking about security. Losing one's phone can be traumatic. And this is one of the reasons I like about the iPhone. I have mine set up for Find Mine. That's by default. I went shopping one day, put the groceries in the car, get in the car, drive away. I was leaving Safeway and I was up at that very first stoplight. All of a sudden, my watch starts going berserk, saying, you've left your phone back. You left your phone. You left your phone. It's screaming at me. And I said, where the hell's my phone at? I'd left it in the shopping cart. I whipped the car around, went back in, and fortunately, it was still sitting there in the shopping cart. Yes, but my watch, and I did not know it would do that. I mean, my watch just went berserk on me. It was vibrating and screaming at me. So one of the other things is Apple does have data protection on the information given to Siri, unless you give it permission to do otherwise. Alexa does not. And there's actually a court case on right now as to whether they can do that or not. Any questions on device and data security?
That wake word. Well, so does Siri, but
And unless you give the command, it does not.
But it's still listening.
Yes.
But it listens, but it doesn't do anything. Siri listens too. But see, Siri doesn't collect the data unless you talk to her directly. Alexa is constantly collecting data.
Good or bad? I know there was a court case where the government tried to get into a person's Alexa
Oh, yeah.
to hear of what they were.
yeah, that was when they were investigating a murder case, and the law thought there might have been something that got picked up by accident on the device, so they were trying to get in. That case didn't actually go to court because the person wound up pleading guilty, so they didn't need it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that case became moot. I don't know if it's been tested again since then.
Did you say Siri's listening?
Well, it has to listen to the wake word.
Got turned on. It's just
As long when your phone is on and you have Siri enabled, yeah, it's listening for you to say,
understand that, but unless you enable it.
yes, you have to enable it. Okay, let's talk about one of my favorite topics, phone security. I don't know how many unsolicited phone calls you get in a day. Cancel Siri. She's sitting here listening to me. Hey, Siri, cancel. Thank you.
I know this one turned. Oh, there it goes.
That's what happens when you call pre-compute. In my home, when I say the S word, it goes berserk. My watch, my phone, my TV. I get between 30 and 50 unsolicited phone calls a day. I have on my phone silence unknown callers. So the only time I know somebody has called me is if they are in my contacts. If they aren't in my contacts, they need to leave a message. What they do is they're using IP generated phone numbers. Those numbers are fake numbers. If you call them back, they don't exist. They're just using that number to give you a number to try and make you think it's a legitimate call. I get calls from Sierra Vista. I get calls from, places in Arizona I didn't know existed. In fact, sometimes I go over and try and find out where they are.
Gold City.
Some carriers, AT&T is one, has an approved list of numbers you can add to. Verizon, as far as I know, does not. I strongly urge you to turn on silence unknown callers, because now almost every organization that is legitimate will leave a message. If your doctor's office calls, they'll leave a message. Well, if you're on an iPhone, it's in settings. On Android, honestly, sir, I don't know. I have been trying to, it's there. I've been told it's there. I have yet to be able to find it. Does anybody know where that is on the Android phone? It is a feature that exists.
On my Android phone, if I get a phone call, it tells me what state it comes from.
That's caller ID.
Yeah, I mean, when the phone's ringing, it'll say, New Hampshire, New York, New York, everything.
Yeah, but see, that doesn't tell you if it's a legitimate call or not.
Yeah, that could be faked.
Yeah, easily faked.
I pretty much know. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, but what if you get a call from Sierra Vista?
I don't know what it says there. The Vista 520 number. And sometimes I'm expecting your call. I'll answer it.
I do that too when I'm expecting an important call.
Other than that, it's not my list, my contact list. I don't answer it unless I'm kind of expecting.
One thing you should do is if you do answer it, if they are speaking with a heavy Indian, Pakistani, foreign accent, hang up the phone.
It is direct TA.
No, your computer is not infected. No. Oh, what are some of the other ones I've got? No, my daughter is not in jail and I have to post bail. I got one of those about a year ago. which I thought to be very interesting because my daughter was sitting right across from me on the couch. I said, geez, honey, do you know that you're in jail and I have to post bail for you? She goes, what the hell are you talking about, Dad? Okay.
Oh, that brings up another topic with that kind of call. Using AI now, people that do those scams, all they need is a few seconds of your voice sample, which could easily be taken off of Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they can use AI to generate an entire conversation where you get one of those phone calls and we'll put you on the phone to your daughter and it will be her voice holding a conversation with you. It's an AI, but it's very, very difficult to tell from the real thing. So again, be very skeptical of any of this.
That's why you should try and not answer any calls unless you know exactly who they're from.
Where do you find it on the iPhone?
Okay, go to settings, up in the search box, up at the top, enter silence.
My wife gets my
And then you'll see
old boyfriend called
Yep.
Scam Likely.
you'll see two settings. One is for FaceTime, one is for the phone. You need to silence both of them.
Setting up. Where?
So if you scroll down and you look for the phone icon on the side, it's there without it doing a silence search.
Decided.
You said on FaceTime also?
Yeah, how do I do that? How do I share my screen?
Yeah, they don't have it on FaceTime. Hold on. Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom of FaceTime on an old phone.
Well, first I have to be on the network.
Pulled on from.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's good to see they confuse even you. I thought it was just me.
There's a filter
There-
unknown.
Okay, I'm going to show you on the iPhone. Okay, we're coming down here, go into settings, click on settings, come back up here to the main screen. Up in the search box, type in silence.
The silent.
SELILE, rather.
There, flash. Use silent mode. That's your system
You
notifications.
put in phone and FaceTime.
That's right, unknown caller. Oh, I know what it is. Go down to apps. You know, someday I learn how to spell.
Did you just have Siri do it for you? Mind you.
A whole bunch of apps.
Why am I not?
If you just go through those for the phone and FaceTime. Phone and FaceTime are all together.
How come I can't tell Siri to do it?
Hey Siri, silence unknown callers. She can't do that. I didn't think so.
You do that.
I got a new update, Mitch.
I've done this all.
Okay,
The phone should be
apps and then phone.
Yeah, that's what I did. Is
They didn't take and put things in different directories every time they updated the phone.
I update.
Yes, there it is.
yeah, but I'm not
Settings and then apps
phone.
and then phone, and then you gotta scroll down a ways.
Yes, there's phone. There we go.
You got
And
scroll down. Calm down.
silence unknown callers.
Yeah,
See it right there?
yeah.
And turn it on. I don't know why the search was not finding it. It could be because I'm in a
Letters. First 4 letters.
yeah. I think the reason it's not working on mine is I'm in a do not disturb mode, and that may have something to do with it. And then you need to go up to FaceTime
Keep pulling it away.
It's green and white also
and down here
on the very bottom line.
silence unknown callers. So you have to do.
Also has it for text. They have under messages. It has
I just learned something.
That's why we do this.
unknown and spam filter message filtering. Stored messages from people who are not in your contacts into separate lists.
Filter unknown senders. Ooh, I didn't know that.
That's new.
We're going to turn off that. Stop mirroring. Okay, we talked about whitelisting. If you receive a call, do not never give out any form of personal information. Your name, your address, your phone number, your date of birth, your social security number, your credit card numbers, your bank routing codes, none of it. If they ask for your name and they called you, you should know my name. You tell me what my name is, what my address is, what my phone number is. You have to verify to me, not me to you. Now, if you call them, it's the exact opposite. They've got to verify you. But if they call you and then they want you to verify who you are, you say, you need to verify you to me. You tell me what my full name is. You tell me what my address is. You tell me the phone number that you just dialed, because they use an auto dialer. In this country, it's illegal. Unfortunately, in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, well, actually, China, they can't because they can't dial out easily. It is not illegal. Yes, sir.
I think there are exceptions there because I've received calls and they were legitimate. They're asking me my date of birth, etc. But I know it from someone,
Yeah, if it's in your contacts and it comes up like VA, it's calling me and it says VA, that's the VA number, and they need to verify who I am, especially when I'm trying to get a prescription filled, that's okay. But if you don't know who they are, I had this one idiot do that to me the other day. I got a cold call. I don't remember why I answered it. And he started talking. I said, let's find out what this guy's up to. And he said, I need to verify your identity. I said, why? You called me. You should know who you're talking to. Oh, I get him flustered. Oh, did I get him flustered?
So if you get a call from your doctor's office or a provider or whatever, and they're not in your contact list, they leave you a voicemail, go ahead and add them in to the list.
Yeah.
What I found is a lot of the people that work there will use their own phones occasionally. I have doctor's offices that probably have about a dozen numbers listed with them. But yeah, put them in the contact list so the next time you talk to them, it will come up. One thing I've noticed is a lot of the providers, they're kind of catching on to this, and also people that do services, handyman, whatever, they'll just text you because texting will come through.
Yes.
And so you, hey, I'm the furnace guy. I'm 10 minutes away. Yeah, cool.
One of the other things, if you get a call that says unknown caller, that means they blocked their caller ID. And when they leave a message and you find out it's somebody that you know, like my doctor's office had this problem. And one day I finally said, you guys realize you're coming up as unknown caller? That's why I never answer it. They said, it is? They had no idea it was. Some of the old call boards, I don't even remember what they're called anymore, would do that, would automatically generate an unknown caller. Let them know that that's what happened so they can get it changed. Okay, anything more on phone? Oh, we're moving right along. Okay. Oh, believe me, yes. Yeah. There's a whole slide on that one now.
Okay.
Scams. This is not all of them. This is just some of the most famous ones. Jury duty scam. You'll receive an email, phone call, never a letter. If you ever get a letter to the U.S. Postal Service that you believe is a scam, go directly to the post office and report it with a letter in hand. That is a federal Class 6 felony. They take it very seriously. Now, you'll be there for about an hour filling out all the paperwork, but it's worth it. Okay, that you missed jury duty and you have to pay a fine. No, it doesn't work that way. Now, can you get in trouble for missing jury duty if you've been selected? Oh, shut up. But you'll receive a certified letter through the post office, not a call from somebody demanding money. So that's a jury duty scam. Right now, I have not seen it in about a year. It pops its ugly head up every once in a while. It normally coincides with jury duty requests. Fraudulent payment. Oh, geez, this one. You need to make a payment on an account. Now, what they're doing is they're calling up and assuming that you've got a Lowe's account, you've got a Visa card, and they'll ask you to make payments and other than money. Well, if you're ever asked to make a payment in gift cards, cryptocurrency, or direct bank withdrawals, now, ever. Now, sometimes you'll get requests for your bank routing and your account number. Only give that out when you know exactly who it is you're giving it to, like a mortgage company or an insurance company, because once they have that number, they can withdraw from you with no control. Here's something to let you know. You could put a stop payment on an auto withdrawal. Cost you $30. You can do it. I had to do it the other day. I didn't know you could do that. I just sold a house. I had to make sure that the house was sold on the 31st of December. The 1st of January is when the payment was due. Well, actually, the 2nd. I wanted to make sure because I didn't know if the paperwork had made it through to let the mortgage company know I no longer own the house. So what I did is went in and put a stop payment on the auto withdrawal for the mortgage company. And on January 3rd, I got a call from the mortgage company saying, you missed your payment. I said, yes, we sold the house. They said, we just wanted to confirm that. We got the paperwork in today. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Of course, I found out that it's a good thing I sold it. The house payments went up $1,000. Yeah, for this next year. Insurance is a house in Florida. Long, involved story, don't ask. Postal Service package delivery scam.
Yep. Yeah, so do I.
You get an email saying that they can't deliver your package because money is due on it or it needs information. No, a post office doesn't do things like that. If there is money due, they'll meet you at the door, okay, with their little machines and a credit card and saying, you want this package? You owe me money. Okay, that's how they do it. They don't do it through emails. They don't do it through phone calls.
Highly recommend that you go up to USPS.com and create an account if you have not. That gives you a number of advantages. One thing is you have a way of tracking your email. They have a service called Informed Delivery. I get an email every morning. This is the mail that's coming to you. I fortunately have a locked mailbox, but if I didn't, and it's not 100% accurate, sometimes they'll say something's coming, it'll come the next day, but at least I know what's going on, and I have a way to actually verify what's happening with the post office. By the way, usually with that kind of scam, they'll say we're from USPS, and they'll have a URL, an address, something like USPSdelivers.com, which is not USPS. That's what you have to be careful for there, but USPS.com and go create an account, and that's a great way to track your mail.
The next one is my favorite, the Publishers Clearinghouse scam. Is Publishers Clearinghouse legitimate? They give away millions in prizes. They will not ever call you and tell you you are a winner. They will if you are a big winner, believe it's 10,000, will show up to your house in the Publisher Clearinghouse van. Very distinct. You cannot miss it because they want to get your reaction to you being a winner. If you get a call saying you've won Publishers Clearinghouse, you're going to get, a Mercedes, 2 Mercedes, $1 million, yada, yada, yada. Never mail through money through FedEx. That's part of the scam, is to embed $100 bills into a book and send the book through FedEx. Well, what they don't realize is FedEx now x-rays everything. And guess what shows up in an x-ray now? $20 and above.
Why is that?
Why is it?
Why did they create? You mean the scammers created? Found a way to X-ray or
No, this is FedEx x-rays everything that goes out.
why not? Why not send money through FedEx?
Because one, it's generally a scam. Why would anybody want to have you put $100 bills in a magazine?
He's thinking like if you were sending money to somebody.
No, you cannot send money through FedEx.
Oh, sends cash any kind.
Yeah.
Hello.
If you want to send money, my recommendation, and I seriously,
What's
Zelle is amazing. Most transfers of money takes, normally takes a day.
used to buy Washington Federal and Bank of America?
Yeah, and all the major banks use it. This is how fast money is transferred with Zelle. You hit the send button and it's in your bank.
That said, be careful with cash apps because they do not have protections that any other account does. Using Zelle or any of the others is like handing somebody else money. You cannot call the bank and said, I accidentally gave some guy money. I want it back. This is tough.
Like handing cash to somebody. But if you want fast transfers, to get money out of my savings account, my 401k, I used to have to call them up. They would make the transfer, and it would take 2 to 3 days. I noticed one day that's, payment by Zelle. So I set it up to send the money to me. And I hit the send button, and I get a notice from Chase saying, you have money deposited. Okay, that just saved me 2 or 3 days. The number one scam that affects all of us that I want everybody to listen to me. If you get a phone call, an email, or anything saying your computer is infected,
Pop-up window.
a pop-up window on your web browser, call this number because your computer's been infected. No, it has not. Do not pay someone to come in and rid your computer of this infection because it'll be anywhere from $500 to $3,000.
And this is where you need to watch. Yes, this is where you need to watch The Beekeeper.
And don't think this doesn't happen. I get now it's down to about once a month. I will get a call from someone. I just had this come up. Is my computer really infected? Don't do it. But no, it is not. It is bogus. It is not legit. Go out and tell all your friends this. Go out, stand on the street corners and proselytize it. Your computer is not infected.
You call, tell them you don't have a computer.
If your computer starts acting really weird, then it may be infected. But it's not going to come up and somebody is not monitoring your computer saying, especially if it says, my favorite one was, this is Apple. Your computer's infected and we need to fix it. Please call this number.
I've gotten emails that say the
Microsoft is notorious for that one. Saying we're from Microsoft, especially if you do a website for Microsoft support, the number that you get is a bogus number. They're scammers. Microsoft does not have direct telephone support. Apple does, and they go to great lengths to protect it because you can only get it through the Apple support. There's not a number you can call. You have to go through the app, the support app. It makes the phone call, and you never see the number directly. Okay. Anything else on this one, sir?
Mentioned something, but I received a lot of PayPal payments, and it used to be that it takes 3 or 4 days for the stuff to transfer, and then they came up with an option about you can let it take 3 or 4 days or pay $50, whatever, pay $3 and you get it immediately.
Yep.
And recently, let it go and it's there the next day without checking that $3 box.
Yeah.
It's consistently.
That's because they're getting better and better electronic money transfer.
Yes, it's moving.
Yeah, it used to be
Is there any competition as well?
pretty close. Yeah,
And Cash App.
Cash App, Zelle, Venmo. It used to be that electronic transfers had to go through a third party to get to the bank, or the other way around. They have since changed that. The FDIC, one of the federal agencies, lifted some regulations to make it easier for them to do it because they could show that it's secure.
Well, Zelle is owned by 3 of the banks.
Who?
Well, Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America. Is that the third one?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. They're owned by the bank, so they love you using it. Now, is it secure? Your money is secured. The recipient is not. Like Mike said, that whoever you send it to is going to get it. So make sure it's right.
Make sure you don't have a typo.
Always, if it's a new recipient, send them $1 to make sure they get it before you send them $10,000. Sometimes, I know with Chase, it's not consistent. Sometimes it'll say no transactions over $300, first transactions. Sometimes there is no limit. Like I just had to pay the wedding photographer quite a bit of money for the deposit. First time payment, it went straight through. Okay, I did. But before, I was trying to make somebody else with a $500 payment, it wouldn't go through saying, you can't send this much. It's the first time recipient. Let's go on to the next slide. Are you guys enjoying this? Ooh, okay, here it is. Okay. This came out, what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Okay. It's called the Banshee variant. It is a virus that attacks Mac OS web browsers. The ones that it affects are Chrome, Brave, and Vivaldi.
Yeah, that's a new one on me.
I've never heard of it either. Chrome is a biggie. Safari is perfectly safe. Safari's got so damn many traps in it, you can't even get through it when you want to. It goes in and modifies browser extensions and cryptocurrency wallets. If you don't deal in cryptocurrency, but most of us have browser extensions. I know on my Chrome, I do not. I don't like Chrome, but I'm forced to use it on occasions. But if you use Chrome, be very careful. And also, the Banshee virus exploits two-factor authentication to spoof it. It's a nasty, it's raised its ugly head. Be aware, it's out there.
So how does it exploit two-factor authentication? You get a thing that says, we're sending you something to text, sending you,
It grabs that number and sends it to somebody so they can use it.
I get a code.
Yeah.
So it's running down my current, what I think is normal. How would I know I'm being?
Yeah.
You don't. That's why Banshee is so nasty. Firefox,
Can we turn on?
that's why they say use email, because it can only pick it up from text messages.
Oh, it's just a Mac-based system versus iOS.
Not iOS yet, just Mac OS.
Well, wait a second. What are you doing that you're texting that Banshee would be getting on an OS?
What it can do is go in and grab the text message. It cannot go in and grab an email. See, a text message is completely electronic, so it can go in and grab that information. So it knows that when you've clicked the button for two-factor authentication, so it'll go in and grab that number.
Like as it's stroke.
Yes. Be aware of that. You have anything else to add to this one?
No, I just left this one for you to get this.
Yeah. Firefox is okay. Safari is okay. Chrome is in danger. Now, how do you protect yourself against this? Chrome has got security extensions, turn them on. I would recommend Safari as often as you can, and only those occasions when you can't. Safari is a very protected web browser. Okay, any more questions? Okay, you'll always have the choice of email or text.
I mean, you go back and change my previous choice.
No, but
No.
if I've already said give it to me in text, do they ask me every time?
Yes, every time they'll ask you.
There's probably going to be a little link underneath it where it says send a text. There'll be a link that says want to use another method or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And click on that link and it'll
But-
take you to
Yeah, almost always you're going to see two options on a two-factor authentication. Text message, email. Rarely will you see text only. There'll always be a second or third option. Sometimes it's text and phone call. Yeah, phone call is a very common one.
Get a call and a computer voice tells you what number.
That is the most secure because there's no way they can intercept that one. You know, but the one thing I do regret about this, because we're at the end of our presentation, is that Jim, for some reason, Jim was not able to participate because he's a highly knowledgeable individual. Yeah.
and paranoid.
Yeah.
Paranoid.
He is extremely paranoid. Yes. And, he does wear his, no, I won't say that, Jim. I'm not going to say it, that you wear a tinfoil hat. No, I'm not going to tell people that.
Where is it? I don't see it.
But he refused to wear it. He refused to wear it. He and I talked about this yesterday. Okay, this ends our presentation. Are there any questions on anything we've talked about? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you said better to send the email to the text. Now, if you're sending a one-time code verification code like the bank, and you use that, nobody else can use it, right? I think it hurt.
But with the Banshee, you don't have to worry about the Banshee. At least I don't think so. Is that what malware goes in and grabs that verification number and sends it to somebody to use?
Well, what's happening is that when you request that verification code, Banshee is grabbing a copy of that code and sending it to somebody else. And then they're entering it in as fast as they can to try to get that into their system before you can do it.
It's more sophisticated than that.
Is it?
What Banshee does is it goes in and grabs your verification number, produces one that it puts into the program and makes it work. So the actual has been transmitted to somebody else. It's very well thought out. I think Banshee is either Chinese or Russian. I'm pretty sure it's Russian because they're a little bit more sophisticated than Chinese right now in writing malware. Yeah, most malware comes out of Russia.
Yeah, not on Windows yet, as far as I know. At least I haven't seen anything on it yet.
There was a variant of Banshee that was on Windows about 3 years ago, but Microsoft actually sealed that one up pretty quickly.
Well, they would.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Yes, sir. I run 3 different malware programs, and I'm mainly concerned because I use a Mac. Viruses are not a major concern, but web-based, and I've gotten caught with a couple of them that take over my browser and won't let me do anything. Malwarebytes, I use Malwarebytes and Clean My Mac to go through and scan my computer. I haven't found anything in probably 2 years, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. So yeah, Malwarebytes is an excellent one.
What about C?
Not familiar with it, but I do know malware. Do you know that one?
See Clear now.
Yeah.
I see Cleaner.
Oh, see Cleaner? Oh, that,
Actually, I wish you'd been here earlier for Windows. I was showing a little program that Windows has now called PC Manager that does the same thing that CCleaner does. So if you're running Windows, go to the Microsoft Store and look for PC Manager and download that. And it does the same thing that CCleaner does, and a few other things as well.
But yes, you are susceptible to malware on an Android phone. So you should get Malwarebytes.
Can you put Malwarebytes?
I'm pretty sure you can, yeah. I have it on my phone for the iPhone, and it also helps protect against malicious text messages. Any other questions?
Well, but I got a comment. If you're thinking about CCleaner, it's hard to find a legitimate CCleaner site because there's so many lookalike that they don't know what you're doing when you're putting a new one.
That's why I would use the PC Manager from Microsoft. That looks like it's decent. Anything else?
And you back up all the data on your phone.
You should be able to, yes.
You know, I don't know how to do it, and all went down. I did that.
See, he's got an Android. I know it can be done, but yes, you can, but I don't know how to do it.
It's just that we've never used Android.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll try and read. Jim, do you know how to do that? How do you back up an Android to your computer? Put it in chat.
The times I've looked at Kin Commando, I think it's more advertising stuff than anything else. Man, like, I'm a little leery about all the stuff that you got up on that site. Yeah, Commando's been around for decades, but like I said, they got so much advertising now that I'm a little leery about it.
You see the chat message, Jim?
Oh, while we have a moment, and while he's doing that, something I wanted to bring up that I think a lot of Windows people have been asking about is, so what's going on with Windows 10? Last we heard,
This I want to hear.
last we heard, Windows 10 goes out of support in October of this year, so we got about 9 months left. Microsoft has said that they will extend support for consumers for $30 for a year. That way you can still get, as of now, they're really trying to encourage everybody to, or force everybody to buy new hardware. And the reason is that Windows 11 requires a certain encryption chip on the motherboard in order to work. Older hardware doesn't have that. It's getting to the point that they're now using it as a promotion opportunity to buy the new Surface laptops that they're coming out with. Their problem is that, as the last survey I saw, 63% of Windows users are using Windows 10. That's a lot of people to force to a new platform.
Yeah.
They're still going on about, you need to upgrade, and we'll see where that goes. I don't think they could keep it up. There's just too many people. I fully expect that we're going to see this extended out further, but we'll see what happens. But that's where things stand right now. Microsoft's stance is, by October, you have to update to Windows 11, and if you have to buy new hardware, then that's what you got to do. And we'll see where all that goes. Personally, I have a 10-year-old computer that is a great computer. I bought it for gaming. It's extremely overpowered. It still works great. And I am not throwing it into the trash can. We'll see where it all goes.
Yeah, Jim loves you, Sully. Something I want to say, Jim's recommendation is go up to the Google App Store, Google Play, and download one of the applications there for backing up. That's your best bet. Let's do Carolyn first.
Yeah, when I searched, I found something even easier.
What's that?
It says just connect your phone using a USB cable, select file transfer in your phone, and this will transfer your files.
Oh, sir, did you hear that? You connect your phone to your computer and do a file transfer. Connect your phone to your computer through a cable. It will show up as a disk drive.
I don't think it'll do the app.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's probably used.
It probably won't do the apps, but it'll do all the data. Yeah, but see, the data is what you're concerned about. The apps can always be restored through the store. The data cannot.
It said on here about turning on a debugging option on your. You do that? Seen a debugging option in their setting.
Either have I.
It also said that there's a Google backup feature.
There is.
That's what it says. It says, or use your phone's built-in. Oh, it's on the phone, so you wouldn't know if you don't have an Android. Oh. It says to use your phone's built-in Google backup feature. This will automatically syncs data like settings and apps to your Google Drive.
Ah, did you hear that? There's a backup feature on your phone you can turn on in settings, and it'll back it up to your Google Drive. It's just like we.
Things really cool.
Because Android was developed by Google.
I had the question at the beginning of Beekeeper. A woman goes to a site and a big flashing warning sign comes up.
It has from the morning.
Yep. Right. And she calls it, but my experience with these kind of things is they don't stop. You go away, you come back, and they're still there. So how do you make it go away?
You have to run an antiviral program to go in and remove the code.
Okay. At the beginning of so it's a virus that they
Yes,
put.
it's a virus. It's a web-based virus.
How did they get?
She clicked on a link.
She clicked on a link in her email.
She either clicked an email link, she visited a site.
I thought she was in her banking.
Oh, that's even worse.
I thought she went to her banking. She was looking at her banking.
She had many windows open.
Okay, let me explain how this works.
Oh.
You go up, you click on a link. Unknown to you, a program has been downloaded, and it's watching everything you do in your web browser or in applications, looking for a financial institute. When you go to that one, jumping through your web browser, comes alive, pops this window up and says, "Oh my God, you've been infected! The world is coming to an end!" That's what happens.
It won't do any good to turn off your.
Well, you turn off turning your computer off will not make it go away. But if you grant somebody access and they start downloading everything on your computer, yes, turn it off. We had one member I need to stop bouncing damn hard when I do the editing. He called me up and he said, "Did I do something wrong?" Okay, what did you do? Well, I got the window that came up, said my computer was infected. I called them up, are on my computer right now removing the malware. How much did you pay them? $1,500. And I used his name. Unplug your computer right now, immediately. Call your bank. Stop payment on that. Unplug it now. And I got in my car and he was 10 minutes from the house and I was there. I was able to get rid of most of the problems. They did not destroy anything, any of the data. We caught it early enough.
When that is going on, is there any way for that person to, how does that person take care of it when it's happening?
What they will do is that call them up on the phone.
No, we're not calling them. I'm saying this is the warning sign
Yeah.
that's happening. I've got it in front of me. How do I get rid of it?
Use an antivirus program.
You have to use an
I
antivirus.
have an antivirus.
Then you have to go get one.
So I'm
It's the old like malware bites. There,
another browser.
yes,
Find a trustable.
because the way they have written these up and it's finding the actual code is really because they make it invisible. Even if you know how to show invisible files, find it because they'll bury it very deep. Someplace you'll never think. I tried to do it manually to get rid of it because what the malware software does is it goes through and searches for all known file names of that malware. That's why it's important to keep them up to date.
At that point, if things are really bad, you reformat your hard drive and reload all of your data from backups.
Yes.
Hopefully you've kept.
Well, I don't know anything about Macs, but you can go back and restore your computer for a week ago or 2 or 3 days ago. And all that new stuff.
That may or may not solve the problem. It depends upon what type of backup you've made. Because unless you go in and redo it, that it's still going to be there. Because you're just restoring files rather than getting rid of files. Because ordinarily speaking, you don't have access to the deep operating system files. They're very hard to get. It's a place you're not supposed to go to. Now, on a Mac, it's really hard to get to.
And that's what made the Banshee so bad.
When I go back and restore, even programs that I downloaded, if I downloaded them prior to that date, turned on off my computer, I had to reinstall them.
Yeah, but the operating system is still there, isn't it? You haven't erased the operating system.
Yeah, the actual Windows.
The Windows is still there. Windows is a series of files on your computer, and where they hide the virus is in that area. So when you restore, you're restoring your own data. You're not touching Windows. So it's still going to be there.
That's why sometimes you have to reformat your hard drive and then install a fresh copy of Windows.
Yes.
And then reload your data, hopefully from a backup source.
God, do I remember those days.
Yes.
Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often anymore.
No.
We The art of computer science has progressed to where it seldom happens. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but it seldom happens. And there's only one operating system that doesn't happen to, and that's Unix. You can't break into if you wanted to, unless you give it permission to. Don't give me none of that. He's a damn Linux user. Linux is a poor example of Unix. Any other questions?
Well, it's so strong because Windows and Mac OS are all built from a variant of Unix. Unix was the
Yes.
original foundation.
Well, no, Mac is Unix BSD.
Okay.
Yeah, at the core of it.
So if I send a W-9 form, which will have my social security, therefore I'm not going to send it over email. Is there a different way other than the U.S. mail to get it to the end user? Wanting it because they didn't notify me a month.
Sending the document through email to a recipient, a known recipient, is okay because the attachment is encoded.
He was in a meeting when you were talking about email over text. He didn't hear you say that.
Okay, sending an email attachment of your W-9 form to a known recipient, that's okay.
It's well encrypted.
Yes, it's well encrypted, not a problem at all. I was talking about two-factor authentication if you log into a site, but emailing it, not a problem at all.
Change from the last time I was here, heard you talk about it could bounce from all these different places as packets go along in any place on there.
Yes and no. If it's the body of the message, not an attachment is encoded and it's nothing but a whole bunch of characters. They would have to grab every one of those characters, and I mean every one of them, assemble them correctly, and decode it. The likelihood of that happening, unless you've got the two computers connected to each other, is virtually impossible.
You're willing to boot me on your identity?
Because
I'm not voluntarily put my social security out on the web because I did some really
This is going to have his.
yes,
Well, the way I did
as an email attachment, or would you,
So it was a PDF billable form.
yeah,
Yep. So if I then save that as a file to my computer and then attach that PDF to the email, send it back to the person who sent it to me.
yep,
We should be able to
you're good to go.
Oh, you can mail that. Right? Do that all.
There is another level if you have what you can do. I don't know if you got the software to do it, is you can actually password protect the PDF file and then send the recipient in a separate email the password to unlock it.
Okay, so I hear grasp the concepts of what you're saying, the mechanics of it. Like I know a helicopter has these various controls.
Yes.
So the mechanics of sitting down and binding.
Yeah, I'd have to do some research because I have not password protected PDF in a long time. Ordinary emails as an attachment, intercepting that.
Because that'll get to her today.
Yes, they might possibly, maybe be able to identify it as a PDF file. Yeah, because it wouldn't be easy.
And also important that everybody's watching.
Everybody's looking at.
Yes. Because if you, I would have to explain to you how email works. Imagine being on a beach and you have sand, and somewhere in all that sand, you've got a grain of rice that you're looking for. And that's what it'd be like, finding that one grain of rice on a beach. Good luck. Okay, anything else, folks? Well, thank you very much. That ends our meeting for today, and hope you have a very wonderful month.